You ever look around and wonder why the world feels like it's closing in on you, like nothing's going right, everyone's turning their back, and you're stuck fighting battles no one even knows you're in? That's life testing you. Life will break you down, kick you when you're low, and make you feel like you're completely alone. But you're not. There's something bigger behind you, something stronger walking with you through every storm, every betrayal, every silent night when you cry and no one hears you. You're never actually alone, even when it looks like it. See, when you've lost everything, money, people, respect, the one thing that never leaves is the power that created you. You can call it whatever you want. But when you're down to nothing, that power is still moving pieces in the background. You just can't see it yet. That's the difference between people who rise and people who stay broken. They understand the game isn't over just because it got hard. Pain is a test to reveal your strength, not your weakness. Most people think pain is a punishment. They go through something hard, loss, failure, betrayal, and they start asking, why me? That's the wrong question. Life doesn't hand out pain to hurt you. It hands it out to expose what you're really made of. Pain strips away the lies, the excuses, the laziness. It doesn't care about your comfort. It cares about who you become after you've been crushed and still find a way to stand up again. The world is full of people trying to avoid pain, but the truth is, you can't avoid it. It's part of the process. Growth doesn't happen when everything's perfect. It happens when your back is against the wall and you either break or you fight. That's where strength is born, not in the gym, not in the spotlight, but in silence, when no one's cheering for you and everything is falling apart. You'll never know how strong you are until being strong is the only option. You don't build mental toughness by reading quotes or watching videos. You build it by going through situations that almost destroy you. The pain teaches you discipline. It teaches you focus. It teaches you who your real friends are. It teaches you to trust yourself when nobody else does. That kind of strength doesn't come cheap. It's earned in the fire. Most people fold under pressure because they confuse being uncomfortable with being weak. They don't realize that every champion, every successful person, every legend was forged through pain. They weren't born with something special. They were broken down, humiliated, betrayed, and left alone. But instead of quitting, they kept showing up. They embraced the pain because they knew it was shaping them into someone the world couldn't ignore. Pain forces you to look at yourself. It doesn't let you lie. When you're in pain, you start to see clearly who you are. You see the habits that got you there. You see the people who never really had your back. You see how much time you wasted caring about opinions that never mattered. Pain will humble you, but it'll also wake you up. It pushes you to change, to level up, to stop blaming the world and start taking control. The weak try to numb the pain. They escape it with distractions, partying, scrolling, complaining, blaming everyone else. But the strong, they sit in it. They feel it fully, and because of that, they rise above it. They turn pain into power. They use it as fuel. Every time life hits them, they get sharper, more focused, more dangerous. That's how winners are made. There's a reason some people never reach their potential. It's because they run from pain instead of learning from it. But the truth is, pain is your ally. It's the only thing in life that doesn't lie to you. When it shows up, it's a signal. Something needs to change. Something needs to be rebuilt. You can't fake your way through it. You have to face it head on. And if you do, you come out stronger on the other side. You want strength. Stop avoiding the hard things. Start walking straight into them. Stop complaining about how unfair life is and realize that life is testing you for a reason. You were built for more, but you'll never access that version of yourself if you keep choosing comfort. The pain is there to show you that there's another level waiting, but only if you're willing to suffer for it. Pain doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're being prepared. The pressure you feel right now is part of the preparation. It's sculpting you into a version of yourself that can handle what you've been asking for. You want success, discipline, respect, power. It all comes with pain. You don't get one without the other. You either suffer from the pain of growth or the pain of regret. That's the choice. Faith isn't loud. It's silent and consistent when no one's watching. Real faith doesn't scream for attention. It doesn't need applause, and it doesn't wait for validation. It's what you do when the cameras are off, when the world isn't clapping, when everything in your life looks like it's falling apart, and yet you keep moving. That's faith. That quiet decision to show up every single day, to keep building, to keep believing, even when everything around you tells you to stop. The problem is, most people confuse hype with belief. They think shouting about their goals is the same as working towards them. They talk about vision, but their actions don't back it up. They want motivation to keep going, but faith doesn't depend on how you feel. Faith works in silence. It's built in those early mornings when no one's awake but you. It's built in those nights when your mind is exhausted and you still show discipline. Faith is built in discomfort, not in moments of celebration. People expect faith to come with signs, some miracle, some huge breakthrough, but the truth is, faith is about doing the right thing when there's no sign at all. It's about choosing discipline over excuses, routine over chaos, and trust over fear. It's about acting like the outcome is already yours, even when you have zero proof. That mindset is rare, and that's why most people never tap into their true power. They wait to believe until something happens, but the strongest people believe first and act like it's already real. You see, when you've got real faith, you stop chasing hype. You stop needing people to notice. You stop begging for likes and attention, because deep down, you know who you are and where you're going. That kind of certainty doesn't come from external success. It comes from doing the work in silence, day in and day out, without fail. It's that consistent pressure you apply to yourself that separates you from the rest. Faith is what keeps you steady when emotions betray you. When doubt creeps in and things aren't going your way, faith is what reminds you that setbacks are setups. It's not about ignoring reality. It's about refusing to accept defeat as your final outcome. Faith doesn't ask for easy, it asks for consistency. It asks you to show up even when you're not in the mood, even when the plan didn't go your way, even when people gave up on you. That's the difference between those who win and those who stay stuck. Real faith doesn't need to be seen. It doesn't need to be praised. In fact, most of the time it's mocked. People laugh at you. They question your path. They call you delusional. But that's how you know you're onto something real. Because the masses don't understand silent strength. They want noise, spectacle, immediate results. They don't understand the patience it takes to trust a process with no expiration date. But if you do, if you learn to move quietly with conviction, you become unstoppable. The strongest warriors don't brag about their battles. They train in silence. They sharpen their mindset when no one's looking. They're not addicted to motivation. They're addicted to discipline. They know that temporary failure means nothing when your belief system is built on rock. They're not concerned with proving others wrong. They're focused on proving themselves right. That's what real faith looks like. It's not about being perfect. It's about being relentless. You show up, you stumble, you get back up, and you keep pushing forward. You trust the vision, even when the results don't match the effort yet. You know the seeds you planted are still growing, even if you can't see them yet. That kind of mindset is dangerous, because it means you can't be shaken by setbacks, opinions, or failures. You've already decided who you are and where you're going. Faith is quiet, but it's powerful. It's built in the dark, but it creates light. And the ones who learn to walk with faith, not noise, become the ones who lead when everyone else is lost. When doors close, it's because better ones are being built for you. But in the moment, it doesn't feel that way. It feels like rejection, like failure, like the universe is against you. You give everything to a plan, a dream, a person, and suddenly it's gone. The opportunity slips through your fingers and you're left standing there wondering what went wrong. That's how life tests your mindset. It shuts doors not to punish you, but to redirect you. And the problem is, most people get so focused on the door that slammed, they don't even notice the construction happening just around the corner. You see, people want success to come in a straight line. They think if they do the work, stay loyal, stay disciplined, the results should come exactly how and when they expect. But life doesn't operate on your timeline. Life gives you what you're ready for, not what you want. And sometimes you're asking for things that aren't meant for you, not because you don't deserve them, but because there's something greater being aligned that you haven't even imagined yet. The closed door is not a dead end. It's a delay that protects you from settling too early. The weak take rejection personally. They start to believe that closed doors are a reflection of their worth. They let one failed interview, one broken relationship, one missed opportunity define them. But the ones who win in life, they see rejection differently. They see it as information, as feedback, as guidance. They understand that not getting what you want is sometimes the best thing that can happen, because it forces you to dig deeper, to rethink, to evolve, to shift focus, and find what's truly meant for you. Every closed door is a filter. It separates the impatient from the unshakable. It's easy to feel motivated when everything's going your way, but when it doesn't, that's when your character is revealed. Do you crumble or do you adapt? Do you get bitter or do you get better? The people who rise are the ones who learn how to keep moving forward even when the world keeps saying not yet. Because they trust that just because it's not happening now doesn't mean it's not happening at all. What most people miss is that the door that closed wasn't even the right one. It was just a distraction. It was too small for the version of you that's being built through the process. You might have settled for less than you deserved. You might have accepted mediocrity just to feel comfortable. But life doesn't let champions stay in comfort. It forces you into the unknown. It rips away the plan you had so it can give you something bigger, something you can't access until you let go of what you thought you needed. Closed doors are preparation. They stretch your patience. They develop your resilience. They teach you to detach from outcomes and stay focused on the mission. Every time you get told no, you sharpen your vision. Every time something falls through, you refine your strategy. That's how winners are made, not by getting everything they want the first time, but by refusing to quit when the answer is no. That mindset builds killers. Focused, disciplined, unbreakable individuals who don't fold just because it got hard. It's easy to look at someone successful and think they had all the doors opened for them, but behind every success story is 100 shut doors. Opportunities they didn't get, people who rejected them, times they almost quit, but they didn't. They kept knocking, or they built a new door, or they kicked the damn thing down, because they understood that if one path doesn't work, another will. That's how you have to think. Adapt or die, pivot, don't panic. So the next time a door slams in your face, don't cry about it. Don't sit in self-pity and start questioning everything. Take a step back and realize that rejection isn't the enemy, it's the redirection. It's the universe clearing the path for something bigger, something that fits the next level of your purpose, not the current level of your comfort. That's the difference between the ones who keep evolving and the ones who stay stuck. You don't need everyone to believe in you, just the one who never left. The world is full of noise, opinions, judgments, criticism, fake friends, doubters. Everyone's got something to say about what you're doing, how you're doing it, and whether or not you'll make it. But here's the truth. Most of them don't even believe in themselves, so why would you waste time begging for their approval? You don't need a crowd to support you. You don't need cheers, likes, or recognition. What you need is alignment with something bigger than the world's opinion, that quiet, unshakable knowing that no matter how bad it gets, you're not walking alone. People will disappear the moment things get hard. When you fail, when you struggle, when you're broke, when you lose, they vanish. All those people who once clapped for you will pretend they never knew you. That's life. But the real ones, the ones who truly believe in you, they don't need proof to stay. And the one who created you, who gave you purpose, doesn't walk away when life gets messy. That presence doesn't shift with your circumstances. It's constant. It's the reason you're still standing after everything tried to break you. Most people look outward for confidence. They want others to reassure them. They want someone to say, "You've got this." But what happens when no one says it? What happens when no one sees your vision, when no one understands your grind, when everyone tells you to play it safe? That's where true belief is tested, when everything outside says give up, but something inside says keep going. That's not hype, that's not ego. That's spiritual endurance. That's knowing your path is bigger than any person's opinion. You can't build your future on shaky foundations. If your self-worth is tied to people, it's going to collapse the moment they walk away. But when it's built on something unmovable, something divine, you can lose it all and still get up. You can face rejection and still feel chosen. You can walk through darkness and still carry light. That kind of belief doesn't come from motivational quotes. It comes from a connection to the source that created you. The world wants results before it respects you. They want success before they support you. That's how people work. But real power comes when you stop waiting for the world to validate you. You become dangerous when you stop needing applause to move. You become untouchable when your identity is rooted in who you are, not how others see you. That's when the shift happens, when you no longer need to be understood, only obedient to the mission you were given. You don't need to announce your every move. You don't need to explain yourself to people who never had the capacity to see your value. Let them misunderstand you. Let them doubt you. That's not your responsibility. Your responsibility is to keep moving forward with discipline and clarity, knowing you're backed by a force that's never failed, a force that doesn't care about clout, trends, or social validation. It cares about purpose. And when you're locked into that, you become unstoppable. This world will always underestimate you until you prove them wrong. And sometimes, even after you do, they still won't give you credit. Let them. Because this journey was never about impressing them. It was about growing into the person you were born to be. And that person doesn't fold under pressure. That person doesn't need reassurance to keep going. That person understands that as long as they're in alignment with the truth, the outcome is already decided. Not everyone's going to clap when you win. Some will be silent. Some will be bitter. Some will pretend they didn't see it. That's okay. You're not living for their approval. You're living for purpose. You're living for the calling that keeps pulling at you even when no one else gets it. And if you stay locked in on that, if you stop craving validation and start trusting the voice that never wavers, you'll see just how powerful you really are. Your mission doesn't require a crowd. It doesn't require permission. It requires faith. Faith in your path, in your preparation, in the fact that if the world turns its back, you're still being led by something greater. That kind of focus is rare. That kind of belief is unshakable. And once you tap into it, you don't need the world to see you. You've already been chosen. Struggle is proof you're being prepared, not punished. That's the part most people get wrong. They think just because life gets hard, they must have done something wrong. Or maybe they're not good enough. Or maybe it's not meant to be. But that's the mindset of someone who doesn't understand how greatness is built. Struggle isn't a curse, it's the gym where character is trained, where mental toughness is forged, where discipline gets locked in. You don't grow in comfort, you grow in resistance, and the struggle is your resistance training. People want the reward without the process. They want strength without pain, but strength doesn't come from things going your way. It comes from everything falling apart and you still showing up. It comes from waking up tired, broken, doubting yourself, and still putting one foot in front of the other. The struggle is where your excuses die and your real self emerges. That version of you that doesn't complain, doesn't negotiate, doesn't fold. That's who the struggle is building. When you're in the middle of it, it's hard to see the value. All you feel is pressure, the weight of expectation, the silence when people who said they had your back disappear, the anxiety of not knowing when or if the breakthrough is coming. But that pressure is doing something. It's molding you. It's making you uncomfortable on purpose, because the version of you that's comfortable can't handle the next level. So life applies pressure to prepare you, not to crush you, but to shape you into something unrecognizable to the person you were before the struggle began. Everyone wants to be chosen, but no one wants the process that comes with it. You say you want to win. You say you want success, respect, strength, but you don't become that person just by saying it. You become that person through the struggle, through sleepless nights, through being misunderstood, through grinding when your body and mind are screaming for rest. That's the difference between wishing and becoming. The struggle turns wishes into reality through pain, discipline, and consistency. Most people quit during the struggle because they think the pain means they're off track. But that's backwards. Pain is confirmation you're leveling up. It's a sign that you're being refined, not rejected. The deeper the struggle, the bigger the assignment. And if you could see what's on the other side, you'd stop complaining and start training. You'd stop asking for it to get easier and start asking to get stronger. Because once you realize the struggle is for your benefit, your whole mindset changes. You stop running from discomfort. You stop praying for shortcuts. You stop looking for handouts. Instead, you lean into the challenge. You embrace the grind. You understand that every setback is building your capacity. Every delay is making you more patient. Every failure is teaching you something you couldn't learn any other way. That's what preparation looks like. It's messy, it's painful, it's lonely, but it's necessary. Struggle reveals what you really believe. When everything's smooth, it's easy to be motivated. But when you're broke, tired, and nothing's working, what do you do then? That's the real test. That's when belief either collapses or turns into something unshakable. And when you push through those moments, something inside you changes. You gain clarity. You gain strength. You gain a sense of identity that no one can take from you, not because it was handed to you, but because you earned it through war. You'll never become the person you admire without going through what they went through. Every strong person has scars, not just physical, but mental, emotional. They've been through things you can't see, but what separates them is they didn't let the struggle break them. They let it build them. That's the blueprint. That's the mindset. You embrace the chaos, not because you enjoy it, but because you know what it's creating inside of you. The world wants results, but it doesn't see the preparation. They'll call you lucky when they see you win, but they weren't there for the lonely nights, the sacrifices, the failures you had to eat in silence. Let them think it was easy. Let them believe the highlight reel. You know the truth, you know what it took. You know the struggle was the real reward because it turned you into someone different, someone solid, someone unshakable. Most people wait for a sign to move. They wait for the right time, the right mood, the perfect alignment of circumstances. They sit in hesitation, wasting days, months, even years of their lives because they're waiting for something external to confirm what they already know deep down. They need to take action. The truth is, you don't need a sign, you don't need a green light, you don't need a voice from the sky. The fact that you woke up with breath in your lungs, that you've got strength in your body, that alone is proof that you're not done yet. People underestimate how dangerous waiting is. They think inaction is safe, but it's the most dangerous thing you can do. You rot in waiting, you weaken, you start doubting yourself, you talk yourself out of the very thing you were built to do. And over time, you lose the fire you once had. You lose momentum. You settle. That's how people become shells of themselves, by sitting on their potential and convincing themselves that they need permission to be great. But the ones who change the game, they move anyway. They act without certainty. They trust their vision more than they trust their comfort. The moment you stop needing everything to make sense before you take the first step, that's the moment you start separating yourself from the masses. Because most people don't fail from lack of talent, they fail from hesitation, from doubt, from second guessing every move until the opportunity is gone. Action is what kills fear. Movement is what builds clarity. You want answers, start doing. You want confidence, stack small wins. You want a breakthrough, stop waiting for the perfect moment and start creating it. Some people think faith means sitting still and being patient. But real faith requires movement. You walk even when the road is foggy. You build even when the blueprint isn't complete. You invest even when the returns aren't guaranteed. That's what separates the talkers from the doers. The talkers wait for signs. The doers become the sign. They walk in such conviction that their results become the signal to everyone else that the impossible is possible. But it only happens when you stop waiting and start building. Nobody is coming to save you. That's harsh, but it's real. No mentor, no partner, no miracle is going to do the work for you. You are the one who has to push. You are the one who has to rise when it's easier to quit. You are the one who has to take responsibility for your next level. And if you keep delaying that, life will keep humbling you until you realize that nothing changes without movement. Nothing transforms without pressure. And pressure only comes when you commit. People think taking action means having it all figured out, but that's a myth. Most of the people you admire started without a clue what they were doing. They just moved. They made a decision that they weren't going to die with potential still inside them. That mindset is what separates legends from the average, because legends aren't more gifted, they're more committed. More aggressive, more relentless. They move when others freeze. You already know what you need to do. The vision's been whispering to you for months, maybe even years. The dreams that keep popping up in your head aren't there by accident. The calling on your life is real, but it doesn't mean anything if you don't answer it. It doesn't matter how inspired you are if you stay frozen. Inspiration without action is just entertainment, and life doesn't reward entertained people. It rewards the disciplined, the bold, the ones who stop stalling and start showing up. You're not waiting on God, God's waiting on you. The door's already open. You're just afraid to walk through it, but everything you want lies on the other side of fear. On the other side of discomfort, on the other side of movement, that next level of peace, power, and purpose you keep asking for isn't coming through a miracle. It's coming through consistent action. Through building when it's boring, through showing up when no one claps, through trusting that the path will reveal itself as long as you keep walking. There is no perfect moment. There is no ideal condition. There is only now, and if you don't take it, someone else will. That's how life works. Opportunities don't wait for hesitation. They pass by and bless the bold. So every second you waste waiting is a second someone else is using to get ahead. You've got the vision, you've got the energy, you've got the breath in your lungs. What else are you waiting for?